Coming up, a big meeting this morning to discuss the future of the Magic Valley Regional Airport, which is still up in the air.
And then officials in Moscow are still looking for a car that could lead that way to a critical information.
Putting you first. You're watching KMVT News with Joe Martin and Brittany Cooper. This is KMVT News at 6.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for your news at 6 tonight. I'm Joe Martin.
And I'm Brittany Cooper. In our top story tonight, today, the Twin Falls County Commissioners met to discuss the proposed contract between SkyWest and the City of Twin Falls. On December 2nd, the City of Twin Falls approved the revenue agreement between SkyWest Airlines and the Magic Valley Regional Airport. This was contingent on the approval from the county. This morning, the county commissioners did just that and showed their support. The new agreement includes a single flight to and from Salt Lake. The revenue agreement will cover any costs not covered by the daily operations of SkyWest Airlines. Bill Carberry, the airport manager, was at this morning's meeting.
I'm pleased that we're moving forward. It's nothing that anybody really likes to have to put money on the table to sustain air service, but with the problems in the regional airlines with pilots right now, I know other communities, many of them like us, are doing the same thing right now.
Commissioner Brent Reinke, along with the support of the rest of the commissioners, requested that a slight clarification be made that would allow the City of Twin Falls, who runs the daily operations of the airport, to operate more efficiently. And Reinke believes this contract is critical for not only Twin Falls, but the entire southern Idaho region.
Contracts are really important. And in this particular case, it's something that we've had a contract for 22, and now we're in 23. We're going to go to a quarter-by-quarter contract with SkyWest. So the clarifying process of this should make it just a little bit easier for the City of Twin Falls and for the County of Twin Falls to move forward.
Both the county and the city plan to meet to discuss the clarification on Monday.
Now, your KMVT First Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Brill.
Tamer weather around southern Idaho this evening compared to what we did see on Wednesday when we had those snow showers around. With that noted, some of the secondary roads still have some snow on them, so just kind of keep that in the back of your head here that they could still be slick later on tonight. Rob Green's Skycam showing pretty fair conditions right now onto Blue Lakes Boulevard on this Thursday evening. Sideline Raider side of things, pretty quiet too. Might still see a flurry down into the south hills of Cassia County and off into the Raft River Valley, but dry conditions expected to prevail this evening. The big thing is going to be the potential for some foggy conditions around southern Idaho. Futurecast not doing the best of jobs with respect to the potential of fog here for tonight, as I do think we will be seeing some visibility levels well below that of 6 or 7 miles here as we roll deeper into tonight. Aside from that, chilly conditions ahead for tonight. Nothing outrageously cold though, but we do have some warmer conditions potentially on the way. I'll talk more about that coming up at 6:16. Joe, back over to you.
All right, thanks. Authorities in Moscow are still looking for the public's help in finding the owner of a car that may be linked to critical information on last month's homicide case. The white Hyundai Elantra was spotted near the off-campus home where 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death back on November 13th. Now, police say they've received valuable leads on the car, which is said to be a model made between 2011 and 2013. But officials are still looking for any information the public can provide on the case.
We are confident that the occupant or occupants of that vehicle have information that's critical to this investigation. We also understand that even though there's sometimes a fascination with a particular case, some people simply don't see the news and may not know that we're looking for it.
According to the police department, they're currently sorting through 22,000 registered vehicles that fit the search criteria. Now, if you have any information that might help in this case, you can call their tip line at 208-883-7180.
As major holidays get closer, leaders in Idaho's healthcare system are pleading with the public to be proactive in preventing sickness throughout the winter. Now, during a meeting with the media, Department of Health Welfare Director Dave Jepson used opening remarks to explain that hospitals across the state are under extreme stress. The combination of influenza, COVID-19, and respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is pushing Idaho's healthcare system toward the brink of drastic care decisions, similar to what the state saw during COVID surges in late 2021 and early 2022.
Let me be clear. Hospitals across the state are full and under a tremendous amount of stress. Following the Christmas and New Year holidays, we expect to see another surge in hospitalized patients. A post-holiday surge is very concerning.
Jepsen continued by urging Idahoans to take action, saying COVID boosters, flu shots, and simple precautions like hand washing, masking, and avoiding others when sick could make a massive difference.
In other news this evening, a Weiser police officer saves the day after getting a call that a baby wasn't breathing. Michaela Ellich spoke to the officer and shares what happened.
It was in the early evening that the Weiser Police Department got a call that a baby was unresponsive at a home on the east side of town.
Upon arrival, there was a 8-day-old female who was unresponsive and not breathing and had started to begin to change colors.
When he arrived, Officer Stratton immediately began life-saving steps.
We began administering CPR and first aid, which resulted in the baby being able to breathe again.
This situation was a first for the veteran officer.
In 7 years, it's the first time I've responded to a child that was unresponsive in this manner.
But he says thanks to his training, he was able to save that baby's life.
We train annually, yearly, and it came into play as of yesterday. It was great. We resorted to our training experience and was able to bring the kid back to breathing and, full recovery.
Way to go. Well, coming up, we'll head back out to Cold Stone Creamery for more on their Toys for Tots drive.
31 Nights of Lights does continue. This picture was coming in from the Orton Botanical Gardens, and nice display that they have there. Not too sure if they're going to be able to win the beauty irrigation gift card just because of regulations, I guess, with respect to the contest. But still, great picture nonetheless. You can submit those pictures on into KMVT.com. More on the forecast coming up.
Well, through the snow and ice, Declo High School juniors showed up today to host the annual Wreaths Across America ceremony. KMVT's Elizabeth Hadley was there and has the story.
Every year, the Wreaths Across America program sets out to lay a wreath on veterans' graves across the United States around Christmas time. In Declo, the annual ceremony was put on by the Declo High School junior class, as it has been for 10 years.
I talk to my kids about how much we love this country and all the freedoms that we enjoy, and those freedoms didn't come just freely. Like, it was from the sacrifice of others, and I think it's very important for them to recognize that sacrifice and be grateful for those who came before.
The students spend all semester preparing for Thursday's ceremony, researching the different veterans whose graves they will be placing the wreaths on, and understanding why the ceremony is important.
Yeah, I think that that's like one of the least things we can do. I mean, these people were willing to put their lives on the line to serve for us and our freedom and our country, so I think the least that we can do is remember them by placing a wreath on their grave.
The ceremony and wreath laying takes place at 3,000 cemeteries all across the United States. The program began about 30 years ago at the Arlington National Cemetery and has grown into a nationwide event. At the Declo ceremony, 174 wreaths were laid.
I just think it's also a big thing for the families of those who serve to place a wreath for their family members who put their life on the line for us.
In their teacher hopes the lessons of sacrifice and serving stick with these students for a lifetime.
Just think about others at some point in your life is a great life lesson for all of these kids. So.
Reporting in Declo, Elizabeth Hadley, KMVT News.
Well, tonight is the last night of our Toys for Tots coverage as they look for more donations for the community. KMVT's Zach Brule is standing by now from Cold Stone Creamery in Twin Falls, and I don't know if Zach is actually working tonight. He looks like
Cold Stone Creamery on Cheney Drive. It's time for you to come on down, get some nice snacks. You can try one of these. I think this is called, Kent Lee told me, a mint chocolate chip. I promise if you come down to get one, we'll make sure one of the professionals does it, because I'm making a mess of this thing out here. But most importantly, what you can do is come by and help fill that Toys for Tots box. It is the last few days, last stretch. We have locations all across the Magic Valley where you can come down, give a gift, or a reminder. They are looking for those older kids and teenage gifts. I don't necessarily know what that means, because teenagers, they do want all sorts of crazy things, but you can also come by with a check for Toys for Tots if you're going to make the decision-making process go to their side of the bill. So come on down to Cold Stone Creamery here on Cheney Drive. We can get you a nice mess of ice cream that kind of looks like that. Get you a caramel apple, get you some Rocky Mountain chocolate, whatever you want, and come down with a gift for those kids and families in need this holiday season. It's a great opportunity for you to really get into that gift, that spirit of giving this time of year. Let's see if I have enough skill. Maybe Kent's going to be hiring me by the end of this. That's right, Joe, you better watch out. You've got some competition in the market for Zach Brule, so I don't know, guys. That looks pretty good if you ask me. Come on down, share some of that holiday cheer with a family in need. Toys for Tots running through this weekend, so it's the last opportunity to really be able to share with someone who needs it. But of course, come on down whenever you can. Until then, live from Twin Falls, I'm Zach Brule with KMVT News.
Well, Zach, if you want to do the weather too, I am not going to object to that. And as far as what we're seeing right now, it's 25.3 degrees here at the station. Plenty of towns and cities in the 20s right now. We're going to see some colder days ahead, though, and also the potential of some warmer ones. More on that after the break.
And now, your KMVT forecast with Chief Meteorologist Eric Brill.
Weather conditions around southern Idaho were interesting throughout the day, in that we did see some roads out there that still were snow covered this morning, but they did improve a touch here as the day did continue on. Of course, the Prime Bridge, that's one road that's always, or one area at least, that's always going to get a lot of attention here because of how many people that do traverse throughout it, throughout the duration of the day at least. But at least right now, it does look like it is starting to be a little bit drier. It did dry up a bit as the day did continue on. Just keep in mind, though, that with some foggy conditions at least around here tonight, that some freezing fog is also a possibility of temperatures well below average, and that could result in some slick roadway just by itself across southern Idaho. Saturday radars still trying to hint out a flurry or two down into the South Hills, but most of the activity's done. And futurecast through the overnight hours, biggest sort of concern that we have here is the foggy conditions that will be into the northern Magic Valley, into Lincoln, parts of Jerome, Gooding, Blaine, and even Minidoka County. So if you're in an area that's typically foggier this time of the year, there's a good chance you'll contend with it yet again for tomorrow morning. Futurecast is also trying to show a fair amount of sunshine here during the afternoon and evening hours. I think there might be a little bit more in the way of cloud coverage around than necessarily what this has, but if we're able to say this much sunshine, I think a lot of people will be happy with that, because we really haven't had a solid, say, 3, 4, 5 hour span of at least some sunshine in place. So we'll take what we can get. Overnight Friday and a Saturday, more foggy conditions will be developing into that of the craters of the Moon region over towards Arco, excuse me, Cary, Richfield, Shoshone, and Dietrich, even into that of the Timmerman Hill area. So that's what we're going to be contending with here for the next few days. Will be some foggier conditions within the northern Magic Valley and into the Silver Creek Valley for the next few mornings. So be aware of that. Aside from that, if you're not in those areas and you're saying, I don't really care too much about the foggy conditions there, you're going to be contending with some cold conditions here between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. For the Wood River Valley, 25 degrees in Ketchum, 18 for Haley, 20 degrees for Cary. Cold, but no drastic issues expected. Highway 20, areas to the south of that do look to see those foggy conditions around. Northern Magic Valley looks to see some foggy and low clouds, I think, throughout most of the day. By the afternoon and evening hours, there might not be as much in the way of cloud coverage in place, but be aware that you'll be contending with that here for Friday morning at the least. Temperatures into the middle 20s for afternoon highs. 28 for Buell, 26 in the Twin, 27 for Hollister, as well as Murtaugh. Some AM clouds and foggy conditions in place, but there will be some PM sunshine around, so at least there is that. And the Mini-Cache region last, but certainly not least, 20 for Albion and Oakley, 25 for Burley, 26 in Malta, 24 into Rupert. With the weather trying to improve throughout the day, so at least there is going to be some sunshine around as the day does continue on. 7-day outlook for the Wood River Valley. The weekend forecast, it's going to be a chilly one, but at least temperatures are starting to climb back up into the back half of the weekend. From 18 degrees on both Friday and Saturday to 23 on Sunday. But notice those overnight low temperatures too into the single digits and into the bottom half of the single digits at that. For Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, going to continue that climb on up. 29 for Tuesday, 32 on a Wednesday, then 36 for Thursday. Some isolated showers are possible on those 3 given days. I am leaning towards Wednesday having the best chance of those 3 days at this point, but still got a few days between now and then to hash out that forecast. For the Magic Valley Mini-Cache region, middle 20s for afternoon highs on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Cloud coverage that is around during the overnight hours does help those temperatures from really tanking. And then Joe and Brittany looking ahead to that of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Some isolated showers will still be a possibility, but at least temperatures are going to get rather balmy here into the lower 40s. It feels like it's been a while since we've experienced that.
You got that right. Well, everybody loves a holiday spread with all your favorite meats, cheeses, and other Christmas snacks.
My stomach's already rumbling.
Yeah.
Well, for this week's Salute to Idaho Agriculture, Zach Brule tells us how one company is helping to bring that tradition into everyone's holiday celebration.
Salute to Idaho Agriculture, sponsored by Slyman & Butler Irrigation.
The marketing team at Dairy West was looking for a fun way to incorporate local products this holiday season.
The Yule Log channel came up and we thought, gosh, is there something that we could do where we just feature cheese?
Thus, the Cheese Channel was born.
Part of our goal was letting people know that cheese is local. You know, I think that there's a real push for people to buy local, support local.
A collection of cheeses from across Idaho and Utah are featured on the screen. But not only can you marvel at the beauty of the spread and the calming fireplace setting, the page acts as a one-stop shop for dairy products and information.
What you see behind me is the cheese channel kind of streaming video, and you just see like a variety of different cheese platters. If you start to scroll down, you'll see things related to cheese.
First, you can find links to the providers associated with Dairy West. Then, you can find pairings and recipes to go with the cheese you order. For Spence and Dairy West, the page works to continue the company's mission of promoting Idaho dairy products.
I know for me, when I go to the grocery store and I know that I'm picking up cheese that's produced locally, it feels really good. I feel like I get to enjoy something and I'm supporting local. So this whole concept as it came together just feels really in line with our mission.
In Twin Falls, Zach Brule, KMVT News.
Coming up, the CSI women's basketball team has their highest ranking in about 20 years, but don't tell head coach Randy Rogers. More in sports.
And now, Jack Schimmel with KMVT Sports.
I go through the top 10, top 12, and I said, there's not a team on there we can beat. So, don't feel full of yourself. You got to go prove it on the court.
The CSI women's basketball team is the #3 team in the country, but as you heard there, head coach Randy Rogers isn't ready to let his team feel like they've arrived. But the Golden Eagles do have a chance to prove themselves in the next week. Starting Saturday, the Golden Eagles play 4 games in 5 days. CSI plays at Salt Lake Saturday before heading to Las Vegas for 3 non-conference games early next week. Even though Casper College, ranked number 10 in the country, is on the schedule for the Golden Eagles in Vegas, most of the focus this week has been on playing number 14, Salt Lake, Saturday.
There's so much on the line, even this early in the season. We got to go to their place twice, and you're trying to host the tournament now. It's not just for seeding. It's trying to, have CSI host the region tournament. So every game's big.
Yeah, anytime we play Slick, we have a lot of fans that come and support us, and I know it's just a really fun game. But yeah, we're hoping to win though.
The Golden Eagles tip off at 1 p.m. Saturday at Salt Lake. CSI's game against Casper is on Monday afternoon, so the Golden Eagles will have a quick turnaround and play 2 ranked teams in about 48 hours. Now to the high school football level. The season has been over for about a month, which is just enough time to figure out who is or who are the best players at each level, according to the Idaho Statesman. At the 1A level, Division I level, Porter Pickett, the Oakley quarterback, is the player of the year. The senior threw for 25 touchdowns and had 54 tackles and 5 sacks on defense. The Hornets won their 3rd straight state title in November. Now, there's too many others who made the first team to go through on air here, but I counted over 25 area players receiving first team All-State honors. Go over to the Idaho Statesman to find out if your favorite player made the list. Now back to college. UCLA is officially leaving the Pac-12 conference for the Big Ten. The University of California Regents approved the move Wednesday by an 11-5 vote. UCLA, though, will have to increase investment in student-athlete resources and provide a subsidy to Cal Berkeley, which could range from $2 to $10 million as part of the agreement. We'll see how this move impacts the Pac-12 conference and overall college realignment in the future. In other interesting college news, the NCAA has hired the outgoing governor of Massachusetts, Charlie Baker, as the next president of the organization. On Thursday, the NCAA said Baker would begin his new role in March. He will succeed longtime President Mark Emmert, who announced in June that he would step down. More news after the break.
It was a battle for the ages in this snowy Minnesota zoo. Luca the tiger went toe-to-toe with a snowman on Tuesday. According to the zoo, the snowman was put in the tiger's exhibit as part of an enrichment program. The snowman obviously didn't have a chance. The program is meant to encourage exploration and the expression of natural behaviors. So.
Attacking the snowman.
Yeah.
Natural behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
there you go. Yeah.
Better than an animal.
Cold weather out there.
Well, yeah, that looks to be the case. We will see some colder conditions around here for tonight into tomorrow morning. No surprise, you're going to need the winter jacket as you do head out the door. Watch out for some foggy conditions, too. Come the afternoon hours, it's not like it's going to get all that much warmer, but compared to what we've been seeing as of late, it's not a drastic difference either. Just the foggy conditions, that's the biggest thing to deal with here over the next few mornings. Temperatures do look to warm up, though, late next week, so fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely. All right, thank you for watching. Have a great night. Otherwise, we'll see you here for our news at 10.